Back with the news feed late night. Was Julius Malema's approach during the Q&A satisfactory in clearing his name surrounding his involvement in the VBS saga? For this, I'm joined by political analyst Khanyi Magubane. Khanyi, good evening and thank you for your time tonight. The idea of bringing the media to interrogate Julius Malema, something that he says, I suppose, no other politician has done or will even be willing to do in the ruling ANC. Does that score him brownie points, for lack of a better word?
Well, first of all, good evening, Thabo, and the viewers. It is important for us to note that the CIC, Julius Malema, is extremely well media trained. He knows how the media operates. He knows what the media is listening out for, and he knows how to use it to his advantage. And of course, he knows that the court of public opinion at times is much stronger than a court of the judiciary. And this was an attempt on his part to exonerate himself by putting himself on a very public platform to say, ask me whatever you want to ask me. I have nothing to hide. And I think the question we must ask this evening in reflecting on today's event, is Julius Malema the EFF, is the EFF Julius Malema? Because for all intents and purposes, he was there on his personal capacity, and yet he was using the machinery of the party to exonerate himself on a personal capacity. I asked myself, why was Floyd Shivambu and the rest of the executive not there with him so that they can answer questions collectively as the EFF executive who are representing the EFF? Because ultimately, this was a move on Julius Malema to set the bar high as far as his morality and his ethics are concerned. He has reiterated that he is not under investigation, not from Hawks, not from SARS, and that there is nobody close to him who's been involved in the VBS saga. But can the same be said, for instance, for the two IC, Floyd Shivambu? Can the same be said by other individuals who have links to the party who've been named? I'm not so sure. The public interrogation was for Julius in his own capacity, but does it exonerate the EFF as a whole from being investigated or from suspicions being raised? I'm not so sure.
The fact that members of the media actually participated in this political project, I mean, in itself, one would say, others might say it was not a good idea, was a good idea. What is your feeling?
I think that it was a strategic move. I'm not sure if I can say it was a good or a bad idea because we have to look at the intention. I think that from Julius Malema's perspective, it was a good idea because it achieved the objective for which he set out to achieve, which was to create a public perception that he has nothing to hide and that he is not corrupt, which of course we know is paramount for most politicians. They want to be viewed as politicians who have good moral grounding. They want to be viewed as politicians who can be trusted. And with the arrests that have been taking place, and with the most latest one, the former CFO of the Merafong municipality happening, he knows that there are a number of imminent arrests that are going to be taking place. And the public is wondering, will politicians be amongst those who are arrested? And he wants to nip that in the bud right now to say, I'm not sure who's going to get arrested, but it's definitely not going to be me.
But the timing of it all as well, and as you're saying, is very well trained in terms of media and how to manipulate and how to work with it. We've been focusing a lot on COVID-19 news, and a lot of attention has been put in that space. But this obviously moving us a little bit out of that space to really focus on the politics within the EFF, the Julius Malema politics, but even maybe preparing ground for campaigning, because we know that elections are just around the corner.
Of course, this is one of the things that other parties can jab at the EFF, and he's trying to strengthen the EFF's position because it does weaken the EFF's position to its constituency if they are constantly being linked to VBS allegations of corruption. It's a point that other political parties can use to hammer in, and in many ways, he's already thinking that far ahead to say, I need to salvage the EFF's reputation and image now. However, what he's done is he's only spoken for himself throughout that entire briefing. When they asked him about Floyd, his first thing was, I don't know Floyd. If Floyd has something to answer for, let him answer for it. I can't say he's classically throwing the rest of his EFF colleagues under the bus, but he's made it very clear that today's briefing was about him. You remember Samkele Mdlalosi, the journalist from the SABC, he's the one that asked the Hawks if they are investigating Julius Malema, and on the back of that, he then decided, okay, let me call journalists, let me put myself out there, let me be a martyr on the slaughter ahead, and that's really what he's done. But the question at the end of the day is it going to do what he thinks it was going to do? Yes, we've all read the reports by advocate, the big heist in Mudau. But the question at the end of the day, what will today's presser achieve? Will it deflect away from Julius Malema? Maybe there was nothing ever linking him directly, but does that mean he's innocent? I don't know. Investigations and time will tell.
In terms of the relationships with the media, does this in a way mend the tough kind of couple of months when indeed the media and Julius Malema and the EFF in particular seem to have been at each other's throats?
I don't think so. The media and Julius Malema will always have a love-hate relationship with each other, and that's the nature of the relationship. I don't think journalists like Polly van Wyk will stop investigating, or the Daily Maverick, or Amapungane, or the ENCA, or any of the other channels that have been banned. I don't think today's briefing is going to sway them, away from Julius Malema and his colleagues. I don't think that the media today has been appeased to the point where they can close the Julius Malema chapter with VBS. I think as investigations continue, as arrests continue, as municipal managers, mayors, and as the whole syndicate and the entire web continues to unravel, we are going to constantly see EFF, if not through Julius Malema, then certainly through Floyd Shivambu and his brother Brian Shivambu, who's said to have benefited to the tune of 16 million rand. Those stories are not going to go away. But what has it done for the personal image of Julius Malema? Only time will tell in the future.
On that issue of the personal image, this call for a lifestyle audit, do you think it's a genuine thing? I mean, he would really open up and have them come in and do that audit?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time that he's called for a lifestyle audit to say, if you think that I have something to hide, come and audit my lifestyle. I mean, he has said at the beginning of the press, they call it a public interrogation. He said today that when the Hawks are investigating you, they can even go into the history, of your telephone calls, and what's stopping them from auditing all his transactions. But of course, we know that those lifestyle audits would be limited to his personal accounts. They would not necessarily extend to the accounts of his cousins or his other associates. So perhaps he knows that from his personal front, he's got no paper trail linking him to VBS or any type of corruption. But again, the question that one can ask is, just because the arrow, is not pointing at you directly, does that mean there isn't a journey from point A to point B that eventually ends up with you, but uses another route through the accounts of those who are closely linked? Hence, I'm saying that the media and investigative journalists will continue to investigate this issue. They will continue to put the dots together between Julius Malema and his other associates.
Khanyi Magubane, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us tonight. Political analyst there, Khanyi Magubane.